Good morning, everybody. This is Jeff Veale, the business guru, yes, from downtown Manila in the Philippines. We're going to bring you today another series of guests, and I've got a very interesting guest all the way from my home country, Australia. And guys, if you want 15 minutes of fame, please, why don't you come on the show? Think about it, guys. A TV commercial is $30,000. If you want to go on radio, you get 10 to 15 spots for about $5,000. You can come on the show and you can talk about your favorite subject, you and your mission in life, for a full 15 minutes. We'll explore it in deep detail. We'll do a deep dive into what gets you out of bed in the morning, how you can change people's lives, what your mission is, and where you're off to next, all that type of thing, guys. So why not come on and get your 15 minutes of fame? We've got a few spots left this month, so I'd love you to come on the show. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to introduce my guest. He's way, way, way up north of Queensland. He's going to tell you a bit more. Good morning, Mr. Anthony Lovell.
Hey, how are you, Jeff?
Going fantastic, Anthony. Whereabouts are you, Anthony, these days? You're a bit of a traveller. Whereabouts are you?
Well, a little sleepy town called Emu Park, which is on the Capricorn coast of central Queensland, and it's so named because of the Tropic of Capricorn runs just south of here.
I guess it gets pretty hot up there from time to time, buddy.
Yeah, it can be hot in summer, but the winters are absolutely beautiful, and we get inundated by people from the south of Australia during winter trying to escape, winter refugees.
I love it. Anthony, can you tell us a bit about your job? Oh, let me introduce you first. Silly me. Anthony's come to a point in life where he realised he's got 20 years or so left. He's probably got more. He looks fit as a fiddle. And to follow your passion and leave a mark on the world rather than just working for a living until you retire. So that point came to Anthony during 2021, during the pandemic. And while working for the government and private business during his career date, he's filled a notebook after notebook with project ideas. And I guess now he's got some time to do some of them. And all the trend sustainability ideas, none were backed by enough passion to get any traction, right? At this time of reflection, he asked his life coach, which is his wife, fantastic, we all need one of those, to help him clarify some still hidden passion projects. Speaking up for wildlife, and what came in return was his first love and his 10-year-old self. In April 21, he started commenting on posts in LinkedIn and turned into poetry with many positive reactions. In 22, he got his first commission to write 4 poems for the launch of a digital marketing agency. That's very interesting. And then developed Project Focus, and from the website, the 1millionpoetry.com, the 1millionpoetry.com. And by the way, guys, all Anthony's socials are going to be in the links below, so you better reach out and contact this interesting chap. He wants to turn his poetic activism to endangered species into a campaign to protect, preserve, and re-establish the biodiversity upon which the continuity of human civilization depends. He also wants to engage with business to find out and promote a replacement for business as usual, which is delivering the world's first. Wow, you have to tell me this one, Anthony. It's a mouthful. Give me the word.
Anthropomorphic.
See, I told you it's a tongue twister, guys. I like you say that one fast 3 times. It's like saying about that the Big Mac.
I'm only going to say once.
Mass extinction event, and the stakes could not be higher. And he's very, very right, guys. It's up to us. If we want to change the world, guys, the politicians aren't going to do it for us. We're going to do it for ourselves, right? And so that's Kia project, the 1millionpoetry.com. Have a look that up, guys. Could be interesting. And treat the Earth as if it was the only century of life. And it is, guys. So don't forget that, right? Interesting fact, he had to go back to his 10-year-old self to find his true passion project and start his awareness in raising a career. Don't forget his socials will be on the links below, but we're going to start off. Tell us a bit about your journey and what inspired you to go down this current path, Anthony.
Well, you summarised it pretty well there, but essentially, I remember when I left school. Well, when I was in primary school and secondary school, I wanted to be a zoologist. That was what I wanted to do.
Interesting.
And then I remember at the end of about grade 10, I was looking at a forestry sort of cadetship, and because I like trees. But by the end of school and then a little bit of uni and then meeting a girl and getting married early and having children.
You fell into the system, Anthony, by the sound of it.
Yeah. I got derailed for 40 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And just working and just trying to find things that I was interested in. And as I said, I used to just fill notebook after notebook with great ideas.
Yes.
That, one day would be multi-million-dollar earning businesses, and they sort of all towards the end were trending towards what I was hearing on the news and hearing from other people, etc. The environmental problems that was emerging back then.
Yes.
Back as far as an inconvenient truth, and before that, even back to Carl Sagan. I just saw this morning, Carl Sagan, the renowned astrophysicist, was addressing some of the United Nations or something a long time before anybody else, saying, if we keep burning fossil fuels, we're going to melt the ice caps, raise the water, kill biodiversity, and no one was listening, and now we're playing catch up. So anyway, if we fast track forward, I worked for government in local economic development, sometimes for local governments, and then I'd go and do a private enterprise project in sort of sustainability, like reusable bags, and then back into local government again, and then back into another environmental kind of industry. And that one, when we started doing that particular job, the Aussie dollar was on a par with the US dollar. And
I remember that. About even bigger, $1.12, wasn't it, something?
Yeah, something like that. We were ordering from overseas.
Yes.
If it was a sustainable product, it still was ordered from overseas in US dollars. And then it just started to slide and kept on sliding until today what it is.
Yeah,
and I'm glad I bailed
back to
out.
about 68, yep.
I'm glad I bailed out because it would have been too expensive to continue. I just handed it over. I helped to start the business and handed it over to the guy who was funding it. And then I needed a job and went and did something else, again, in facilities management. And that's when the pandemic hit. And I ended up really not liking my job and becoming profoundly unhappy about getting up and going to work and coming home, because I never got a break during the pandemic. Some people had to stay home, but I was actually living on the road as a caretaker in the business that I was looking after, and I never got a break at all. And it was just wearing me down. And it was at that point that I talked to my wife, and she helped me clarify what I really wanted to do. And I haven't really opened my notebook since, because I'm very happy with what I found.
Fantastic. You found your passion. Tell me, I guess that's the important moment in your career that changed the direction that you were going. Would that be right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
That was a pivotal moment, because, I mean, it turns out it wasn't rocket science. I was just being, I was always looking for, well, I'll earn my money first and then I'll do my passion stuff.
Yes.
And like a lot of people, we've had our ups and downs, and we took a big hit during the world financial crisis. Yep. And sort of never really recovered from that. So kept on working, and just working and living for the weekend was not, to me, it's not a way of living at all.
No, not at all. Like people say, a job, guys, is just on broke. You're living from paycheck to paycheck. How do you stay motivated, Andy, and contribute and innovate in your chosen field?
Okay. Probably I need to, explain how I'm doing what I'm doing now. I am working part-time, as I mentioned to you just correct. Started working part-time in a menial job that doesn't mean anything, but it gives me enough part-time income, which, when added to my wife's part-time income, allows us to be semi-retired in a beautiful place 200 meters from the beach. Lots of wildlife around, very slow. Look out over the water and see Great Keppel Island and North Keppel Island, and
fabulous.
It's a beautiful place. So I've had a chance to sort of step back and relax and just do what I have to do to earn enough money, and the rest of the time I try and dedicate to my passion, which is raising awareness of the catastrophic plight of the world's wildlife. Now, it was back in 2018, an organisation called IPBES, and don't ask me to say what that is because it's an intergovernmental panel on something or other, something or other.
Made up name, yeah.
I can never get it, but anyway, they came out and said 70% of the world's wildlife has been annihilated in the last 50 years. 70%.
Wow.
And we're talking about all wildlife right across the board.
Yeah.
A sustained drop of 70% in 50 years. So if we keep on the same track, we can hope to get rid of all wildlife in the next 20 to 25 years.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Now, that's my problem. That's the problem that I have with the current system and why I have to raise my voice and stand with the wildlife. Because I also read another pivotal book 2 years ago, which explains the role of animals in biodiversity. The reason we live the way we live and have farming land and food production and clean air and water and all that sort of stuff is because of the billions of years of evolution.
Yes. And
animals finding their niches and going extinct, and the successful ones keeping going.
Yeah, they've all got a job. Yep.
They created a biosphere.
Yep.
That was relatively stable and enough to support life, even through 4 or 5 mass extinction events, naturally caused, like asteroid strikes, etc. But life, and sometimes up to 90% of all life was wiped out, but it bounced back. So the matrix that we have, this Earth that we have, the workers that gave it to us and the workers that are keeping it going is not humans, it's the wildlife.
Yes.
And because we're getting rid of the wildlife, we're expecting that the ecosystem services are going to keep going. Now, if we bulldoze the Amazonian rainforest for cattle and soybeans, and if we bulldoze and chainsaw the Indonesian forest for palm oil, the cattle aren't going to keep the ecosystems going.
Correct.
The monoculture is not going to keep this ecosystems going. It's heading for a collapse if we keep on the same trajectory. So anyway, the IPBES came and said, if we continue down the current path, we're looking at the possible extinction of up to 1 million species.
Wow.
Now, we don't even know if there's just one species that might cause a cascade and catastrophic collapse, let alone 1 million.
Yes.
Somewhere in that million, there's probably some animals that, are rather important for keeping everything going. In fact,
I was reading about bees. You probably know this better than me. And I was reading about bees the other day and the important thing that bees do in our life. And that's one of the things. Just you take for granted.
Exactly. They do the heavy lifting on the pollinating. There are other pollinators, of course, like flies and moths and beetles and birds, but they don't do the heavy lifting like the bees do. So, yes, all around the world, they were very worried about a collapse of bee populations because of spraying monoculture crops with pesticides. Yes. And so now, we're starting to wake up. This is the nice thing about it. We're starting to wake up. But every day you wake up and say, "Oh, this is another problem. This is another problem," and we're leaving it a little bit late, folks, to start doing something about it.
I got a question for you, Anthony. Talking about pesticides, I mean, the grasshoppers are coming, so the farmer sprays his crop to keep the grasshoppers away. Then he gets a tractor out and he plows all that stuff in, and that becomes wheat, and that becomes into our bread. And then we're starting to eat the stuff. So, guys, think about it. And you've got no control over it. They're not going to tell you what you're eating, guys. But I can tell you now, it's very, very, very hard to actually genuinely eat healthy.
Well, yes, it is. And luckily, certain countries are starting to ban the ones they know are a problem.
Yes.
And which is good. And other countries are sometimes slow to follow suit. But gradually people are understanding.
Yeah.
The science is in. It's just that everything is lagging behind the science. But anyway, my role, I can't tackle all the world's problems. I can't.
No, but you can contribute, obviously.
Or plastic or whatever. I can stay with my passion, which is the wildlife. which is a rather important thing. And when I say wildlife, I mean biodiversity.
Yes.
And when I first started doing this, they were only talking about climate change. That's the only problem we've got. That's the main problem we've got. Putting aside the threat of nuclear war, which we've had for a long time.
Yeah, right.
Just put that in the put that on the back burner somewhere. The main problem they were saying was climate change, and everything was about climate change. But now they're starting to say no. The other side of the coin is loss of biodiversity, which are both this. One causes the other, and one causes the other, and one reinforces the other. So it's a dual problem we have to face. But what we should be doing is protecting what remaining biodiversity we have.
Absolutely.
Which means we have to halt land clearing for whatever the market says we need. We need more cleared land for this product, or more cleared land for that product, or we have to start resisting and saying, well, if you want to keep going on a suicide mission, then yeah, by all means, keep going. Yeah. But there are some people who don't want to keep going with this civilization that, as I said, is delivering. We're already in it. We're already. I can't remember how many hundreds or thousands of percent higher than the background rate of extinction now. Yeah. With Australia, unfortunately, leading away a lot because of its extensive land clearing and biodiversity loss, but certainly not the only culpable country. Yeah. So what I do is I try and focus on just raising awareness of individual animals, so that people understand that there is something called a civet, or whatever it happens to be, whatever animal it happens to be.
Having looked at some of your work, Anthony, I must say you're doing a wonderful job. I'll be wrapping this up shortly, but looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future, please, buddy?
Well, I just want to get the message out there. Mm-hmm. And in particular, I can keep doing what I'm doing now, and I'll have some people who follow me, and it's all very nice, and they like what I do.
Yes.
But what I would really like to do is start to engage more with business.
Yes.
Because I wrote a poem some time ago called BAU Kills, Business as Usual Kill.
Right. And where do we find this poem?
I've published it on LinkedIn.
Good.
And I can give you. I can send it to you at some point.
Yeah.
But anyway,
after I put your YouTube up, Anthony, I suggest you go in and drop it in one of the links underneath it.
Okay, well, I might do that.
In fact, please do. Please do that.
I don't use my YouTube too much, but I need to use it a bit more.
Yes.
So anyway, there's got to be another way. We can't just keep destroying the planet so that everyone can have everything that they think that they need. While at the same time as we're destroying the planet, it's so totally self-defeating. So the one way to pull that back is to start to modify how we do business and rethink what our economic systems really are, and somehow try to bring them back within the limitations of the planet. Because as I said before, one of the main things I want to do is try to get people to understand we're living on a planet that, if you think big enough, maybe the only planet
correct
in the known universe anyway that sustains life.
We've got to coexist.
And my attitude is we could be living in a paradise, where we could be living in a sanctuary.
Absolutely.
We could be living in a wildlife sanctuary alongside the animals, with minimizing human-animal conflicts. Right. And even if we have to say 50-50, we'll have half the planet and they have the other half. Hoping that's enough.
Yeah, good dream.
They're the sort of things that I want to push.
Love it. Going to wrap it up now. How can our listeners reach out to you, Anthony, and find out more about your journey?
Well, I guess because you're focusing a lot on business, I'm on LinkedIn.
Right.
And you can find me on LinkedIn, AE Level.
Yes.
And I'm getting less active on the other socials because of some of the issues that they're facing.
Yes.
But also my website, as you mentioned, the1millionpoetry.com. You can always leave a comment on one of the poems if it moves you in some way.
All right. You've been a very interesting guest, Anthony. Thank you for coming on today. I'm doing a news series. We might have you back again. I'm doing a news series next month called SOS, where we give people a bit longer. And you've been such an interesting guest. I'll be inviting you back. So, guys, this has been Anthony today, and take note of the message, guys, and I'll be dropping all of Anthony's socials within the next few hours. We'll have everything up on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Instagram, and of course YouTube, where we'll drop all of his links. And we'll send Anthony a copy, and he can personally go in and add that poetry for you. So watch out for it, guys. And if you want 15 minutes of fame, guys, and help spread the word like Anthony's doing, and when you've got a message to share with the world, reach out and come and get 15 minutes of fame. We'd love to promote any worthwhile cause. That's why we're here. We're here to share and care, guys. So, Anthony, I want to thank you for being a guest today, and hats off to you, buddy, for your mission, and I hope everything goes well for you. And if I can help anytime, feel free to reach out. I'm only a phone call away, you know that. All right.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Jeff. Great to meet you.
Likewise, buddy. Blessings. All right. All the best, guys. Thank you very much for having us.
And that's all, folks.